Manus flat on the canvas. We are ready to rock and roll. Second round of action. There is a cut on Manus.
Jesus.
Martial art. Yeah.
My man B-Hop, he got dropped out the ring last night. I need a little judo baby. I need me a little judo baby, and let's do it, Rhonda. Let's hit me up.
I see you were filming this. You got a face for radio.
That's got a face for radio.
That's nice.
Martial arts chat.
Martial arts.
Hello and welcome to the Martial Arts Chat podcast. This episode is sponsored by A1 Fight Gear. A1 Fight Gear use the latest cutting edge boxing gloves for professional and amateur fighters, gym enthusiasts and kickboxers. Local and national gyms in the UK, do yourselves a favour, go check out a1fightgear.com. If you want to get into shape, get back into shape, or just keep trimming the fat off, go to beastgear.co.uk, use the coupon code MartialArtsChat to save 15% off your purchases. They've got core sliders, straps, barbell pads, all sorts of strength and conditioning programs to suit your needs at different levels. Finally, we're also sponsored by World of Martial Arts Television. WOMA.tv produces, finds, acquires, commissions and presents all you ever wanted to know about martial arts. Discover techniques, exercise and forms from your favourite martial arts. Explore martial art philosophy, health, culture and spirituality. Today's episode we speak with Bellator lightweight Dan Porkchop Cassell, who is fresh off a knockout victory at Bellator Birmingham. Our man Chris Allen heads up the chat. Enjoy, folks.
Today I'm speaking to Dan Cassell, fresh off a win, his debut win at Bellator Birmingham last weekend. Dan, really appreciate you joining us. How are you doing this evening?
Yeah, I'm good, thank you. Yourself?
Yeah, no, really good, really good. And again, really appreciate you coming on. I'm sure you've got a lot of things going on at the moment. So, big win last week at Bellator. What's been going on since your win? What have you been up to?
Eating cake and enjoying life, mate. That's what I've been doing. Yeah, man, I'm a middleweight again now, so... but no, just been chilling out this week, really. In all seriousness, spending some time with the people who have put up with me being miserable and that I've not seen much of. So it's been nice.
So how much weight are you actually cutting then, like during your training camp?
I normally start the camp at about 185, between 185 and 190. So. You're talking 30 to 35 pounds really from the beginning of camp till weighing day, and then.
And how?
Sorry.
I was there. And how long was your training camp before this fight?
Well, I've come fresh off another victory, so literally I fought in February, 23rd of Feb. That was at a catch weight. It was the first because I traditionally used to fight at welterweight, and obviously it was. Can I make lightweight and how can I perform there? So I fought at 74 kilos in Feb, and then literally went straight back into camp. So it was an 8-week camp, but I've been in training camp since November, really.
Fantastic. And obviously, you had a little bit of break at one point as well, didn't you? If I remember right, you took about a year out. Was that a couple of years ago?
Yeah. So I fought. I think it was March 2017 on Cage Warriors. That was at welterweight, and I just knew that things weren't quite right in my life, my personal circumstances. And to be honest, I was sort of in a position where it was either decide to knock it on the head, or I needed to change a few things in my personal life and really make a go at it. And that's what I decided to do.
No, fair enough, mate. Incredible. And obviously, you've come back. You're 2 wins in a row now, both by TKO in the first round. So whatever time you've taken out, you've obviously used wisely. It's definitely reflecting in your performances recently.
Yeah.
So what's going through your head now? Like, when I spoke to you before, were you are you expecting a kid soon?
Expecting what? Sorry.
Was it yourself I was speaking to? You said you had kids on the way.
Not that I know about, no.
Oh God! I hope I'm not getting you in trouble down here. Jesus.
No. There's no children that I talk to, so we'll keep it that way.
Oh, geez, so how embarrassing. Sorry about that, mate. I must have been thinking about something completely different. So, Let's move on from that one then. So for people who might not quite know, obviously they know who you are now from watching you last weekend at Bellator, and obviously you have got a big audience behind you. But for some of the people who might not be quite aware of who you are or what you're capable of, what sort of your background in this sport? What actually initially got you into combat sports before actually hitting MMA? Were you boxing before? Were you doing some sort of other martial art?
No. I was just doing a lot of weight training and strength and conditioning. And to tell you the honest truth, I was quite a big guy. I was probably 16, 17 stone, and I'd always been involved in sport in one way or another. But it got to a point where I was literally just doing weights, and I went for a jog one day, and I literally stopped 3 or 4 times during probably a 2-mile jog, and I thought, oh my God, what's happened to me? I'm unfit, I'm out of shape. And then a friend actually recommended MMA to me and said, oh, I'll give that a go. So I'd never really done anything combat sport-wise before. It wasn't like I grew up doing karate. So I was a bit of a blank canvas, really, to it all. So yeah, that was my introduction. I got chucked into a room with a load of guys that beat the shit out of me for a few weeks.
Oh, fantastic, mate. So what was like, over your career then, so once you're getting into this, what was your most memorable sort of win you had? What one really sticks out for you?
Obviously, the fights I had as an amateur over in Vegas, that they were a huge experience. So it gave me a taste of the high life and made me realise, what opportunities there are in this sport. But I would probably say that the fight that I've just had is probably the biggest fight that I've had in terms of doors that it's going to open for me. But probably the first fight this year, because that was sort of make or break for me. So it was quite an emotional one. I sort of had to, there was a lot of demons that I had to answer for myself, and they got answered that night, so probably that one.
Yeah, and obviously I was really glad to be there to witness the fight as well. Obviously sitting in the front row there, it was fantastic to watch you fight. Definitely didn't seem like you've been out at all. Yeah. Looked like you've been fighting consistently for the last 5-6 years, on a good streak. So after myself watching the fight, I'm expecting something big to be coming your way next. Have you had anyone spoken to you about what's next, or have you got any idea of what you want next at all?
Yeah, actually, me and my coach, we've spoken to Bellator. They've actually offered me a fight in June on the London card. So we're just taking a look at that, and we're just going to see what really, if it's the right fight, because the fight that they've offered is actually at welterweight. So obviously I'd be preferring to fight at lightweight, but I'm injury free. I've come out of a win pretty quick. So a fast turnaround, it might be something that we can look at, but all being well, if not, I'm going to be on the Dublin card in September. That's the plan.
Would the Dublin card be at lightweight?
Yeah. If that would be the plan. Yeah, I want to be fighting at lightweight going forward. I feel amazing at lightweight.
Well, yeah, I feel like, because you said you come out completely uninjured and unscathed, so you feel like you could fight a welterweight in June and then in September go back to lightweight and fight a couple more times this year.
Yeah, the plan at the beginning of the year was to fight 4 times. So I was going to fight twice before the summer, enjoy the summer a little bit, and then twice in the later months. That was the plan. But sometimes you just have to be an opportunist, stay ready, and opportunities come to you, and that might be the case with the June fight. But we'll see what happens. Obviously, I'm at a stage in my career as well where we've got to be a little bit sensible, because the next 2 to 3 fights are really going to decide on where I go with my career. So it's something that we've got to look at and make a decision on in the next few days.
No, but it'd be really exciting to see what's going to happen next for yourself. And as you said, you do have to think. You don't want to jump into things too rashly. You want to make sure you're definitely ready for the fights. Yeah. Because as you said, the next 2 fights are going to definitely decide where you go next from here. So these 4 fights you want to have this year, do you want them all to be within Bellator, or are you open to other organisations coming forward?
Yeah, I mean, I've been spoiled a little bit with Bellator. The way they treated me was, never been treated like that in my life. I fought on the likes of Bama, Cage Warriors, and they've all treated me very well. But the whole Bellator experience was surreal. So ideally, the plan is that I get a multi-fight deal with those, and we consider a year out as a Bellator fighter. Alternatively, if that doesn't happen, then I know that something big's going to come soon, so I'll fight wherever I need to fight to get the right opportunities.
And that's exactly the sort of mind frame you want to be having. Just fight whoever. You obviously got the fight anywhere, fight anyone sort of mentality. I guess that's what everyone's looking for. So, how did you actually get the call for Bellator? How did it all come around? Was there someone drop out of the fight, or were you someone they've been considering for a while?
No, as I say, it's sort of 6 months ago. It was almost as if, what am I going to do next with my life? Am I going to carry on fighting, or am I going to sit in my 9 to 5 job and just, become a normal person again? And it was difficult, really. There was quite a lot of pressure again on the fight that I had previously, because I knew that Bellator were interested in getting me on the Birmingham card, because obviously my teammate Tim Wild was on there. But I think if I'd have lost that fight, then the opportunity would have been closed down. So obviously I won the fight, then we entered negotiations and got a fight sealed pretty much within a week. So that was good.
And have you got your opponent coming up next soon? Do you know who it is at the moment, or you just know the weight class?
The what? Sorry.
Do you know? So your upcoming opponent in June you've been offered. Do you just know the weight class, or do you actually know who you'll be fighting?
No, yeah, they've offered me an opponent, but I'm not too sure how much I'm allowed to say. I don't know what the circumstances are, whether the guys had a pull out or whatever. So I wouldn't be able to say who the opponent was. But to be fair, he's an undefeated prospect. He's a really, really good guy. So it would be an awesome fight. And that's the problem. I am attracted to the fight. The weight doesn't really bother me, but that's why fighters have coaches, because coaches make the right decisions. Fighters make a decision that's not always the right one.
And through your pro career, you can see you've taken on fighters who have got some sort of experience as well, not someone who's on a huge losing streak or anything like that. So, your stats show that you're happy to get in there with anyone at any time, and obviously with fighting someone undefeated, would you say your biggest test to date?
Yeah, I genuinely, my opinion is records are for DJs. An undefeated record that can be great, but what caliber of fighter have you fought to stay undefeated? Have you been protected? It means nothing. An undefeated record means nothing to me. It is what it is. At the end of the day, I think you've got to go out there and test yourself against the best possible opponent. So. Not necessarily. I think, I take each and every fight as they come. Every fight that I fight is the biggest fight that I'm going to enter, and that's the way I motivate myself. So.
Oh, no, brilliant. And also, just going back to your fight, let's go back to the fight you had in Birmingham when you took on John Nichols. What did you know about this guy then when you were coming in? What did you know about him before taking this fight, as you signed it so quickly, you said within a week?
To be fair, there wasn't that much quality footage about him. A lot of his fights he finished early. He come out quite aggressive, and he was sort of like, as I said before, I can't remember if I said it to you or one of the other guys on the night. His style was kill or be killed. He come out swinging, and he liked to play the bully. So the game plan was either to, in terms of a distance, either be right on top of him or be out of range. So that's just what we tried to do, and I think we executed it pretty well. Up until the point where I took him down, I don't think he landed a shot on me because I stayed out of that range, which. So, I think it worked really well.
Yeah, and you definitely see from your wrestling as well, and your control was fantastic as well, especially leads to TKO. And I saw your previous fight with was it Dan Good? Is that his name?
Dan Good, yeah.
I think it rightly.
Yeah.
Yeah, because I remember you took him down and to finish a guillotine. I don't know how that guy didn't tap out from that. The squeeze that you had in that guy when he was on the ground, but you showed your great ground game by spinning him over, and eventually you finished him by TKO, if I remember rightly. Yeah. Is that correct?
Yeah, that's right. Yeah. It's something I've always had in my arsenal, to be honest. But people get frustrated with me because they say I'm too nice. And I've not really showed it that much in my early pro career. But I just, as I say, my position in life's a little bit different now, and I've got that direction of where I want to be. And all I need to do when I'm walking out to fight that's what I focus on. There's a couple of little things that I focus on, and I plant the seeds in my head, and it just changes me as a person. For that 15 minutes that I'm in there, I'm prepared to kill.
And was it nice to get a bit of redemption as well? Because it was your first pro fight, and was it nice? And he's obviously had a bit of experience, and you've had a bit of experience. And do you feel like from the distance you've both come, you've really shown that you've grown as well, just as much, and you were able to defeat him nice and early on?
Yeah, the first time me and Dan fought, I think he was quite a heavy underdog. I'd had quite a decorated amateur career, and he was coming in off a loss, so it was a real shock that he beat me. And mentally, he did knock me back a step or two, and I don't think probably for my 3 or 4 fights after that, I had the confidence that I'd carried in from an amateur. I think it really knocked my confidence. So yeah, just to redeem myself for that, it answered a lot of questions and got rid of a lot of demons for me personally.
And I see you have fought in quite a few different organisations as well.
Yeah.
Has there been? If Bellator is the answer to this question as being your obviously most preferred event, excluding that one, then what was your favourite your organisation you worked for? Maybe because it made you learn the most or give you the best experience. Which one was the best?
I've got a personal soft spot for Cage Warriors. I think Ian and Graham and all the guys who run the show there, that they do everything right, and they do what's best for the sport. You can generally see that everything that they do, every decision they make, is for the best of the sport and for the fighters. So yeah, I'd say next to Bellator, Cage Warriors is the best experience I've had of how I've been treated, and just it's a great platform to fight on.
Yeah, and they're throwing a huge event in June as well. I think it's the week after the fight in London, where they got all 4 titles on the go as well, if I remember rightly. It's like a Night of Champions, the event's called. Is that something you might be attending?
Yeah, I'll be there. One of my good friends, my old teammate, Jai Herbert, he's fighting for the lightweight title against Jack Grant. So yeah, I'm going to be going down to London to watch that because he's going to win. He's going to win the title, man, and he deserves it. That guy's been working hard for years. And he's a hidden talent. I think he's only just starting to become recognised on a bigger scale. But I'm telling you, the guy's got dynamite in his hands, and he's going to stop Jack Grant in the second round, I reckon.
Oh, so that's your prediction, second round here. So if I put a bit of money on that and we win,
yeah, just make sure you split it with me.
Yeah, but what happens if I lose? Then I won't get a phone call answer, probably, will I?
No, I'll just ignore the call.
Yeah, that's fine. Don't worry, I'm used to it. It's all good. So going back to your training and everything. So So I don't want to sound stupid, but for the people listening out there, where are you training at the moment? What's your gym you're at currently?
So I split my training between UTC in Staff in Cannock, and then also I do my ground work at Gracie Baja in Warsaw under Neil Simkin. So I've got a nice balance. I'm working with some awesome coaches, some great facilities, and then to be fair, strength and conditioning wise, I do my own strength and conditioning plan, which I've always done, and it always seems to benefit me really well. I've never really struggled with my conditioning. So yeah, I've got a really nice balance. I'm getting 2 sessions a day in when I'm in camp. And working that around a full-time job, so it's a busy old life, but we get it done.
That's it. And are there any particular training partners you train with, particularly for certain aspects of the sport, or anyone just basically you like to go with because they push you to your ultimate limit? That's not for you, is it, Dan?
What's that? Sorry.
That please isn't for you, is it?
Oh yeah, they're seeing me with a fan. Yeah, I'm multitasking. I'm evading police and answering questions.
Fantastic.
No, that's welcome to Wolverhampton. Sorry, what was the question? You made me blush then.
No, I'm trying to remember myself now. No, yes, that was it. Training partners. Anyone in particular you train with for certain aspects of the sport, or anyone you like to train with? They push you to your absolute limit every time.
As I say, my teammate Tim Walsh, he's an inspiration to me, really, in the fact that, he's got a very similar mindset to me. He's very focused. He knows where he wants to be in the sport, and I'm really, really impressed with the way he handled the result from the Bellator card last weekend. Obviously, it didn't go his way, but he showed how professional he is, and he'll be back, and that sort of motivates me more than anything, really, just to see the way that he handled that and his mentality. That goes a long way for me.
Yeah, no, and he came out, he took on someone who's pretty much undefeated, opposed to Michael Chandler, the recent champion. Well, actually, the not so recent champion anymore. Did you watch that last night?
I've seen the highlights. I haven't seen the fight, but yeah, I was. I think that stoppage was early, to be fair. But as a referee, you make these decisions, and if it would have gone on a couple more seconds and he hadn't responded, then it would have been a late stoppage. So you can't really complain. But yeah, I said this to Tim. When you're fighting world-class guys, it's like giving a Premier League striker a shot on goal. You can't afford to do it. Tim made a mistake, and Primus took the opportunity. That's what happens at that level. At the end of the day, he didn't get knocked out. He's not suspended medically. He can brush himself off. He can come back, and he can fight again whenever he's ready to fight. Which I think he's looking to get in there sooner rather than later.
So there's enough cards coming up soon this year in and around the UK. Is he interested maybe coming out again in June? Because someone like him, coming off, because it was a quick loss for him, and I'm sure he's got a lot more to show, a lot more to show. So maybe they want to get him in there quickly so he can show what he can do. What do you reckon?
Yeah, I think he's looking at June as well. So as far as I'm aware, though, that card's pretty stacked. I mean, if you look at some of the names on the card, it's an awesome card. So if he could get on that card, that'd be amazing. But if not, I think it's going to be Dublin with myself, and we're gonna show the Irish crowd what we're about.
Yeah, mate, and you know what the Irish crowd like, mate. When they bring support, they really bring support as well.
They're absolutely crazy, aren't they? Have you been to an event over there?
I haven't, no, but I will. Well, because I'm obviously venturing into this Bellator press world, I really want to be coming over to Dublin to experience that atmosphere. From the TV, you really can't, experience it. But from when I was at your fight, you definitely had You've had a few people come with you that night, didn't you?
Yeah. Between us and as a gym, we did really well with tickets. We did over a couple of 100 tickets, so it was nice to get some good support behind us, and it does make a difference sometimes. At one point in the fight, I think John had me, to be fair, quite a deep guillotine, and when I put my head out and the crowd, crowd went a little bit wild, it does spur you on a little bit. So yeah, it's nice. And to be fair to the Irish fans, the one thing I will say is they do get behind their own guys, but they just appreciate a good fight. So if you're turning up and you're fighting well, they'll get behind you.
No, exactly. Even if you aren't the local homeboy, they're not going to boo you and give you. At least they show a lot of respect. The Irish crowd as well. Yeah. I don't want to be sounding as if I'm disrespecting any countries or cultures. But did you watch the Brazil card last night, UFC at all?
Yeah, that was terrible.
That's quite disrespectful. What's your opinion on that sort of post-fight interviews? They're actually saying we're happy, we love your country, and just still absolute deafening boos. What's your perspective on that?
I can't understand how you can boo somebody who's getting in there, and I know it sounds quite barbaric, but ultimately everybody who gets in there each and every time, they're putting their life on the line. How can you boo that? It just, whether it's the fight style that you like or not, or whether your home fighter gets beat, or how can you disrespect that? It's just, it's not nice to see, and it's bad for the sport.
No, it really is. And do you remember a little while ago when Matt Brown was fighting? I can't remember who he was fighting now, but he was walking down, through the crowd, and he actually got attacked 2 or 3 times. I don't know if you remember that.
Yeah, I do vaguely remember. Who did he fight now?
Obviously, I was obviously a Brazilian. that cuts that one out.
Yeah, did he fight?
It wasn't.
Was it Thiago Alves that he fought?
I'm not sure. I can't remember. I really can't remember. But again, actually getting hit 2 or 3 times, like, you know, cheap shotted on the way down. Like, what's going on?
Yeah.
Like, if you look at the Japanese fans, they're the best example to look at. You go to Japan, they actually applaud everyone.
Yeah.
The same. It doesn't matter who. They'll never boo if you're on the ground with no action. Everything's an applause. It's to them. It's like an honour, you know. So the big question actually I wanted to ask you, Dan, for a while, and I'm sure you've been asked it millions of times, but I'm yet to find out where the answer is. Where did the nickname come from? if it's appropriate to be saying on the podcast, you can swear. It's all right.
No, there's no need to swear. I mean, if you were to guess, what of interest, what would you think?
That's the worst thing about it. I don't really want to say what I'm thinking. I don't want to offend you.
Don't offend me, believe me. I've had worse. I'm sure people have said worse. Now, as I say, I'm fighting at lightweight now, but I've actually, believe it or not, in the past I've fought as heavy as light heavyweight, and that's just because I do like food. That's the plain and simple of it. I do like food. So one of my old coaches, one day he called me a pork chop, and he said, look at me, you little pork chop. And it stuck.
He called you a little pork chop?
Yeah, and unfortunately, there's a written rule that nicknames have to be given to you. And I couldn't have got, like, the Savage or the Killer. I had to get the pork chop. So, and it stuck. And, you know, even though I'm fighting at lightweight now and I look like a crackhead fight week, I'm still pork chop. Some of the guys in the gym call me T-bone now, but I think pork chop's here to stay.
It's just pork chop. It makes you think of things like cabbage. Remember that with the boxer and stuff like that. You're definitely not some, because people are going to see your name and think, if there's no picture of them, they're thinking, what is this guy going to look like?
Hopefully,
especially if you.
Hopefully, they take sympathy on me and I can get a bit of an advantage. But yeah, it's not the most menacing. I've got to be honest. It's it's sometimes I hear announcers call it out and I think, fucking hell, man, I've got to get that changed. But no, it's. I think it's sticking with me for the rest of my career.
No, why don't you know what? Why it sticks out, doesn't it? There's so many pit bulls nowadays and all this sort of stuff. You know, like whatever. You've got to have something that's going to stick out. Like everyone's going to know who Big Country is forever. You know, and the Iceman and things like that. You know,
pigs are cute, man. You know, there's nothing up with a pig. That's it. It's just as I say, you've got to be given a nickname. You can't give yourself a nickname. That's cheating. So.
Well, one of the things I thought with pork chop was I thought, could you might like to roll around a lot, like on the ground and things like that, with some sort of submission or wrestling, like pigs roll around in shit, you know. So I thought that's what.
Were you imagining me rolling around naked in the mud? Is that what he's trying to say?
Look, I might have to edit that bit out now. You know, you caught me out.
Oh no, it weren't because of that. To be fair, it was just because I was fat. That was it. Yeah, I was just a fatty.
What's your what's your call out food like? If you see it in the fridge and you're in weight cutting week and you don't care if you're cutting or not, you're eating it. What's that food that you're reaching out for?
Do you know what? I'm a sucker for cookies. It's just cookies get me in a weird way. I'm like a shark with blood when I see cookies. If I open a pack of cookies, man, it's like I can't eat one. The pack's gone. But I don't know. When I'm cutting weight, it's weird. I've become unbreakable. Like my little girl, she's a little porky as well. Talking about this earlier, she's a gannet. You know, she's a pig. She just eats so much. But coming up to fight week, it don't bother me. I just get to a point where I know that I can't have it. So I'm pretty disciplined like that. But after the fight, it's just like, oh God. You know, we make up for lost time. But I give myself a week where I'll eat what I want, and then I'm back working with my nutritionist. So from tomorrow, really, I'm back working with my nutritionist full time, and we'll start stabilising the weight again.
If you don't mind me asking, you can tell me to piss off if you want. But what are you weighing at the moment?
Hopefully my coach don't listen to this.
You can lie and message me afterwards.
About 72 kilos, I think I am. 85 kilos roughly of a morning when I've emptied my bladder. But 85 kilo.
That's right.
I walk around generally between 84 and 86. But we want to try and get me down to around 82 walking around. Just so if we do get something short notice, I know I can make lightweight in 4 weeks from 82. So, it's that's where we want to be. So 84, 85 is a little bit heavy. So that's what we'll be working on over the next few weeks, just to bring that base weight down. Just so we're in shooting range if we get something short notice.
So are you doing nutritionist then throughout the whole of your training camp then? Throughout the whole, so are you going into training camp now for potentially a fight in June?
We'll see. Yeah, I'll probably know that answer within the next 24 hours. But either way, I'll be back in the gym training.
Just in case.
Just in case something comes up. If not, it's extra training for September, and that's all that matters really. Just staying fit, ticking over. You want it to be a fight camp, not a fat camp. So, it's just giving yourself the best opportunity possible.
And is there anything you're going to work on a bit more going forward? Do you feel like you want to train on without giving too much of your game plans away? Like, I don't want you to give away any strengths or weaknesses as such. But is there anything you're particularly going to look at working on going forward now before your next fights?
Not really, Chris. I mean, I feel like my skill set's probably the most rounded that it's been ever, to be honest. But it's just, you can always get sharper, you can always get better, you can always get faster, you can always get fitter. And I think that's what it's about, when you've got a little bit of confidence in yourself, it's all about just continually growing. There's little areas, little techniques that you can work on. There may be a specific leg lock that you want to be drilling for the next 3 to 4 weeks. And if you stay fit and you stay sharp in between camps, you've got the ability to do that because you're not having to work on losing weight and getting fit. You can work on the little fine details, and I think that's what makes a difference between fighters who grow and fighters who don't.
No, that's a really good attitude to have. As you can see with your records, you've had a lot of ground and pound wins, TKO wins, things like that. So do you feel the submission is there? Like I know you're capable of submitting your fighters, but do you just feel you like to use the submission to get in a more dominant position to finish them off with strikes?
I mean, to be fair, the way I feel about submissions is you generally have to. 90% of submissions, you have to put yourself in a prone position to submit. So, for instance, in the Dan Good fight, I pulled a guillotine, which, as we say, was tight. How the hell you say it? I don't know. But I ended up on my back against the cage, and it's sort of like, okay, I didn't get that submission, and now I'm in a position in the fight where I'm actually losing the round because I've technically give up a position. Whereas with ground and pound, I generally feel, especially at lightweight, I'm probably the least arrogant guy you'll meet, so don't take this the wrong way, but I generally feel at lightweight, if I'm on top of somebody, I can control pretty much anybody on the floor. So the ground and pound is it's the safe bet, I suppose, because, who likes being punched in the face by a fat lightweight? Nobody.
I'll pork chop lightweight. Sorry, I won't get over that.
Yeah, fat pork chop, who likes that? No, and sometimes the strikes will help you present a submission. So, I think we'll see in the next few fights that people are going to expect me to strike, but what it'll do is that'll open up further opportunities for me to submit from there. I think the submissions will come. My submission game's there. It's solid. I'm ready to choke somebody whenever they feel the need for me.
Have you ever competed in any sort of out of competition, like jiu-jitsu competitions or anything like that? No,
I'll be honest, they bore the life out of me. I think it's like, I don't want to sound disrespectful, but it's like watching paint dry. I really do struggle to compete, and it's not that I don't think they're any good. I've just got a very short attention span. So, a general grappling competition can last 6 to 8 hours, and in that space of time you can be competing for 15-20 minutes, and it just doesn't appetise me, to be honest.
Well, I can tell you don't like hanging around, because most of your fights, if you won, have all finished in the first round. I bet that unanimous decision win you had killed you. It took you forever.
Yeah. Yeah, well, when the buzzer went, I didn't know what to do. I got up and just... No, it's to be fair, as an amateur, I did have quite a few decision wins. But as I say, I don't think even as an amateur, I don't think I had that killer instinct, really. I think it was... I only really developed that in the last 3 or 4 fights, I'd say. It's strange, yeah. Decision's a decision, but it is nice to get a finish. It just feels a lot more satisfying.
Yeah, but as you said, if it's got to go to decision, that's the safest way for your game plan. Then it's got to be done, I guess, hasn't it?
Yeah. I mean, it depends on the fight, doesn't it, and on the fight style. But the problem with a decision is, not so much domestically, but on the world stage, if you're fighting a local talent, you've really got to impress to get that decision win. I've been on the wrong end of a decision loss before that. Even to this day, I think I won the fight, but ultimately, I've left that decision in the hands of somebody else to make the call on. So you can't. I don't think you can ever moan if you lose a close fought decision. You've got to. Ultimately, you're there to finish fights. So.
Exactly, that's it. And you're there to finish, but as you said, if you go decision, a win's a win at the end of the day. But you can see you're a man who likes to finish. You like your first round finishes, and you can tell where you've had your time off, or whatever, where you've trained. It's definitely reflecting your fights. So it's going to be very interesting to see what goes on for yourself going forward, Dan. And I personally will be watching your fights and really, really excited to see how it all goes for you. So just on the last note there, Dan. First of all, I just want to say thank you very much for coming on. I really appreciate it. I know you're ringing me from your car, and just for law reasons, it is on a hands-free, so the police can't say nothing about that. And
yeah.
So is there anyone you want to shout out, so any sponsors you want to shout out to, your gym, training partners, anything like that? Do it now, mate.
No, I just want to thank. I won't go into individuals because I always forget somebody, and I'll get shouted at for that. So everybody who's just supporting me on the journey, it's really, really, it's overwhelming, really. After my fight last Saturday, the amount of support that I got and the amount of well done. It took me 2 days to reply to people. Just from everybody who sends me a nice message, to people who financially support me, provide me with equipment, meal prep, whatever it is. Everybody who's working with me at the moment, I just want to say a big thank you, because each of you play a part in the success, and obviously we're going to all be sharing it together, because there's big things to come this year. We're just getting started, and I generally think that within the next 12 months we're going to be in contention at lightweight and knocking on a few doors. And we're going to hopefully be with you there the whole way. Hopefully I'll be chatting to you again after your fights, Dan, and if I do, I'll make sure I bring you a big bag of Maryland cookies or something, mate, especially if it's after your fight, okay? Oh mate, if you do that, then I'll make it. I'll tell you what. I tried these. I'll tell you what. I had some of these Marks and Spencer's triple chocolate chip, all butter sort of cookies, and I'm not a cookie man, but I had them, and I pretty much demolished the pack. So I'll bring you some of them, and you'll know what I mean. Chris, you need to stop talking dirty to me. Do you need to pull over? Oh mate, I'm gonna have to. And also, where can people find you as well, mate? Where can people find you and follow you and see what all your fights that are upcoming, all latest news? Pork Chop MMA on Instagram and on Facebook. Give me a follow. I'm pretty boring, to be honest. I just post stupid stuff, but either food or me in the gym or my little girl running around or stuff like that. But I do put all my fight updates and stuff on there. So I mean, anybody who wants to tune in or anybody who's looking to sponsor a local athlete, get in touch. Anybody who wants to send cookies my way, direct message me. I'll send you my postcode. Yeah.
Quality Dan, really, obviously it's been great having you on, and you're great personalities, having a great attitude towards the sport, and look forward to seeing you fight again. Thank you very much.
Chris, I'll see you with those cookies in Dublin, mate.
Definitely, mate. 100%. Thanks, mate.
Thanks for listening, guys. If you like this podcast, be sure to subscribe on iTunes. We're live every Sunday, 8:30pm, talking MMA on the Roundtable. Different guests each week, and we answer your fan questions. Go to facebook.com/martial arts chat, give us a like there, and follow us on Twitter @martial arts chat. I'm John Boy McElroy, and we'll catch you next time on the Martial Arts Chat podcast.